Instagram teen accounts have automatic protections for what teens see and who can contact them, plus time management tools. And Instagram will continue adding built-in safety features to help create age-appropriate experiences. Learn more about teen accounts and Instagram's ongoing work to protect teens online at instagram.com/teen accounts.
The Larry Kudlow Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
So the latest McLaughlin poll of 1,000 likely voters, just completed. 57% of likely voters back military action. Even voters still undecided about their congressional vote in the midterms. The majority support military action in Iran by 51 to 29. Independents supported by 46 to 40. Hispanic voters supported 56-33. Among women, 47 to 38. I don't think Democrats understand what I call it a sleeper issue for the midterm elections. The war is going to be increasingly popular. It's well done. People want Iranian nuclear capabilities and terrorism. They want it stopped after 50 years. Donald Trump is courageously stopping it. Let's talk to ace pollster John McLaughlin, the CEO of McLaughlin and Associates, he and his brother Jim. So, John, this poll is a wake-up call. I'll tell you, it's a wake-up call. I mentioned it to General Keane and asked Susan to send over the summary of it so Mr. Keane, General Keane could look at it. But this is really some piece of work you got going here.
Yep, I was listening. I sent it over to General Keane. He's
Good.
A friend because he went to Fordham.
Yes, I know.
so he was ahead of me, but it was like
I was a trustee for 3 years.
Yes,
Father McShane, my favorite lib.
Right, I'd see him at the games because my dad was recruited to play quarterback there when Lombardi was coach. I'd see him at the games. But anyway, General's a great guy, and I tell you, what's amazing is you touched on it. The left-wing media is doing they're doing a disservice to the men and women who are fighting.
Yes.
We have family. I have family and I have friends in that theater, and they do not need the media reporting fake stories because their loved ones are worried about them. And they're saying they're taking missile hits, and the president's sending out a truth saying this isn't true. Mm-hmm. And so they're serious. God bless those families that have lost loved ones so far. But this is something that Americans are rallying around. They support because in the poll that you mentioned, right, when we told them the United States, when we asked them, agree or disagree, that the military actions against Iran were necessary and warranted to protect American lives today and in the future, they agreed, 57-33. And the next question, when we asked them, the United States must finish the job for all to protect the United States and our allies, 59% of all voters agreed, 31 disagree. The difference is, initially when you went into this, most voters don't watch, unfortunately, Larry, they don't watch your show on cable and they don't listen to your radio show. Yeah. But those that do, if you watch Fox News and Newsmax, et cetera, right of center media, which is about 4 in 10 voters, you supported this initially going into it 82-12. The left of center media consumers, they're against this 72-22. And if they don't watch cable news, which is about 3 of 10 voters, they don't care about this stuff. They're going about their lives. They were opposed to it 54-38. But when you ask them, the United States must finish the job once and for all, 85-9, our right of center people agree. 36% of the left of center people agree, and those that don't watch cable flip to 47-40. The country is coming together on this to support the president and our brave men and women over there. And the left-wing media is like Iranian state news, which is unbelievable. They're taking stuff that's not true from the Iranian news service and sending it back into America. And by the way, for the Iranians and China and Russia, their cyber people, that's by design. So they're using our strength of free speech against us to undermine us in this war, and American public opinion is going the other way. They want to find the truth, and they want to know that our troops are winning and succeeding, as General Keane has very well described on your program.
Even the Wall Street Journal, the news edition of the Journal,
right.
So they're running a story this morning. And in that story, they're saying polls show people are opposed to the Iran incursion. What polls? I mean, they don't. What garbage polls? I mean, here's the thing. The thing I like about yours is likely voters. Very important. It's not registered voters or people out of the phone book. It's likely voters. What's your split between Dems and ours?
It's based on the last November election.
Right.
So it's 35 Republican, 34 Democrat.
Right.
The CNN exit polls had us 35-31. Also, you have 1 point more Trump voters in it than Harris voters because we won with 50%.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, and so it's modeled after like the CNN exit polls from 2024.
Mm-hmm.
But I will tell you what the big difference is, those fake polls, they underpoll the Trump voters on purpose. When they do polls like Reuters, Ipsos, when you look at, Economist, YouGov, they're horrible polls. They'll have only 35% Trump voters in it, and they'll poll adults. They literally could be polling illegal immigrants.
Right.
I mean, they're just, and they do it for propaganda purposes.
Of course they're
so deranged. I mean, this is the bad part for the media. I mean, you keep on pointing out the article by Boies, the lawyer.
Yeah.
They are so deranged against Donald Trump.
Yeah.
They're undermining our military from doing something the American people support because they understood Iran could not get a nuclear weapon.
You look by the by, the media, the legacy media, not Fox or Newsmax or whatever, but the legacy media basically trying to make the case that we're losing the war.
Right.
We're losing the war. Every little nick and knack, and the president tweeted about this. They're reporting about some planes in Saudi Arabia was completely false. Completely false.
And we have friends and relatives at that Air Force base, and you read those reports, and you're worried about their lives. And it's a fake report.
Right.
Do you know what they're doing to our military and their families? And they're doing it because they don't like Donald Trump, and they should be ashamed of themselves. So
that was the usefulness of David Boies, who doesn't like Donald Trump, but what he said was, this is no time for partisanship. It was a great piece, a rallying piece.
Yes.
And I hope it may or may not have some impact in mine. But in any event, look, John, let's take us your poll is a big warning to the Democrats about the midterm elections. I'm telling you, I was talking to Charlie Hurt and Kellyanne last night on the TV show, and this is a sleeper issue, and it may not be sleeping anymore. But you don't see these. Nobody's talking about the impact of the war. The war is going to be popular. The war is going to come to an end soon. The war will be victorious for the United States. It will be an act of incredible courage for Donald Trump. The Republican Party supports the war. The Democratic Party opposes the war. That's wrong. I wish it weren't so, but it is so, and it's going to hurt the Democrats come Election Day, John McLaughlin.
Well, you look at Chuck Schumer, who's not popular in the same poll. He's 32 favorable, 44 unfavorable. He's getting out in front to, him and Jeffries are holding up Homeland Security funds. At a time of war, when people are trying to travel around the United States and you've got terrorist attacks, like 4 within the last week. People driving into synagogues. You got guys with IEDs that at Gracie Mansion that fortunately didn't go off. That, by the way, the New York City media didn't report those guys as Islamist terrorists, and they were. And so you've got this going on where Schumer and Jeffries are holding up Homeland Security funds. God forbid something happens in the United States that's even more serious than what's happened at Old Dominion and what's happened in Michigan, because they should not be doing this. This is right now the country needs to come together. We need to make sure Iran never has a nuclear weapon, because most Americans recognize they would use those missiles and nuclear weapons at the United States.
Of course they would. Of course they would. It's just incredible to me how badly Democrats have played. It's all about Trump. Anyway, ace pollster John McLaughlin, folks, take a look, go up on Newsmax or my New York Sun article. We're quoting his new numbers, likely voters. A lot of support for what Mr. Trump is doing, majority support. John, thank you for this. We will take a break, and then we're going to get to some stock market work on the other side.
The Larry Kudlow Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.